Amanda here, and today we're talking about a new indie palette release. This is from Adept Cosmetics, and it's called the Samarian Sunset palette. First of all, just this outer packaging is so pretty. I love this ombre metallic packaging. Their palettes always look so sleek and classy. Don't get me wrong, I love cutesy, colorful, kitschy, but I like this too. I think this is really pretty. This palette is currently available. It's priced at $79 US, so it's a really pricey one. That's part of the reason why I wanted to get an in-depth review out for you, because this is so expensive as far as eyeshadow palettes go. At least in my opinion, this is expensive. It's always better to have more reviews, more swatches to help you figure out if any product is right for you, but especially one that is so pricey. This is a 15 pan eyeshadow palette, and it is very shimmer heavy, as is typical of Adept palettes. There's a lot of information I want to go over about this Samarian Sunset palette. I know that this has a Star Trek inspiration. I am not very familiar. I know what Star Trek is. I've seen it. I'm aware of it, but I'm not incredibly familiar. I'm definitely not part of the fandom. So if I mispronounce anything or if I miss any references, my apologies. The theme just isn't something that I'm incredibly knowledgeable about. But I do know quite a bit about eyeshadow palettes, so I'm going to focus on that part. We're going to take a close-up look at this palette, the outer packaging, all of the shades. I'm going to show you finger and brush swatches. I'm also going to show you what these shadows look like in different lighting situations, because there are so many duochromes and multichromes in here. And I'm also going to show you a quick, really easy tutorial for the eye look that I'm wearing today. I absolutely love it. And of course, I'm going to give you all my thoughts along the way. First off, let's take a look at this gorgeous ombre sunset inspired packaging. When we flip it over on the back, it just has the brand name stamped into this outer packaging. And then on the front, there is a super cool, also kind of ombre look metal plate that has the palette name displayed. There's a nice big mirror inside, and it has a little phrasing here, the best of both worlds. Taking a look at the actual eyeshadow shades, you can see the shade names are printed inside next to the pans. The first two rows are shimmers, and the last row is all matte shades. Because these shimmers are all shifty shades, duochromes or multichromes, I'm going to show you this palette and the swatches in a bunch of different lighting situations. So first you saw it in my studio lighting. That's my big ring light and softboxes that I film with. This is just the overhead light bulb that's in this room. I personally prefer white light versus warm lighting in my overhead lights in my house. So this is a white light bulb. And then with all the lights off and a flash light, I'm going to move that flash lighting around so you can really get a sense for what this looks like with different angles, different intensities, and how when you wear these shadows, you will be in motion, you will be moving around, blinking your eyes. So I like to show you this flash lighting in motion. That's also why I move the palettes around, tilt them side to side, up and down, close up, far away, during all the other lighting situations as well. So you can see what these shades look like in motion. When you see the swatches on my arm, I like to move my arm side to side, show you close-ups, show you the whole color story. I really want to give you as much information about these shadows as I possibly can. I'm sure if you are hanging around on social media, comments basically saying, this palette looks different in every picture I see, or the swatches look different in every picture I see. And this is why. It truly is lighting, it's skin tone, it's the camera angle, especially with these really shifty shades, but this applies to really any makeup product. It's going to look different depending on lighting, angle, skin tone, editing. I'm not editing or filtering or color correcting any of these swatch images or palette images that you're seeing in this video, but sometimes when you take photos particularly of really shiny things, you do have to do a little bit of color correcting to get it to look more like it looks in real life. So it's a really complicated situation, and that's why I like to show as many different lighting situations, as many different angles and things like that as I can, because even when you have this palette in your own house, you'll experience the same thing. If you carry it around your house and take 10 different pictures in 10 different places, it's gonna look slightly different, and that's actually normal. I think if something looks the same all the time, I start to assume that it's edited, it's digitized, it's not real life, because in real life it will always look different. Was that a long-winded rant about something that nobody cares about? I certainly hope not, but I hope that it gives you a better perspective as somebody who is a consumer, as somebody who's watching reviews. Hopefully knowing that type of information will help you to be even better informed and make even better decisions for yourself when you are spending your hard-earned money on these sometimes very expensive products. I will say the day I was filming the actual YouTube video for this palette, I did not have much sunlight. It was a very rainy, dreary time, which is great for these dark shots with the flash lighting, but not so great for sunlight. But I did have some clips on my phone. So the next things you're going to see are sunlight swatches and a look at the palette in sunlight, but these are from my iPhone instead of my camera. I think they still look plenty great, but I wanted to make sure I gave you as much info as possible. And I mean, I can't resist including these because this palette looks so stunning and sparkly and beautiful in sunlight as well. So I think I have all my bases covered on the lighting and swatches. Now let's get into the eyeshadow look that I'm wearing throughout the talking portions of this video. It's definitely very simple, easy to do, but it's one of my favorite looks because without doing too much, without adding too many shadows, it really lets the beauty of these individual shades come to light and shine, in my opinion. And the great thing about these Adept shadows is the formulas are so consistent, they're so reliable, they're so easy to work with that it doesn't really take much time at all to create a super beautiful and really impressive looking eye look, but you don't really need that much time and you definitely don't need that much work. I particularly like these matte shades because they are very soft, buttery, blendable. They remind me of just a slightly less intense version of the Odin's Eye mattes. Those are a little bit more highly pigmented at first swipe, but texture-wise, they feel very similar to me and they blend very easily. This is a high compliment because Odin's Eye mattes are some of my favorite mattes of all time. I was struggling to choose which shades to use on my eye because they're all so beautiful, but I'm gonna be honest with you, this is my favorite single shadow in this entire palette. So I acted like I was maybe going to use something else, but I knew I would end up with this one because it's just so stunning. It blends beautifully with this red into that orangey matte shade on the outer part of my lids. It doesn't take much to really create something stunning and truly effortless looking, but it's still unique and fun to wear. After placing those two shimmers on my lid, I went back and just dabbed a little bit of the deepest orange along the outer corner of my lid and the outer part of my crease, but I wanted to use my original blending brush. That way it sort of melded all those shades together without adding more pigment. I did want this to be a softer, very approachable look, which is why I didn't do a ton of different shades. I didn't put anything on my lower lash line. I really wanted this to be colorful and sparkly, but also soft and very easy breezy feeling. That's definitely right where my personal style lies, kind of in between everything, in between colorful and neutral, in between bold and soft. And I think that this particular eye look really nails it. You could definitely add a little bit of that orange smoked out on the lower lash line and add a little bit of liner and lashes to up the ante and make this a bit more dramatic. That's definitely fun and has its time and place in my life too. But for my day-to-day wear, this is really the type of look that I just love to wear. I feel myself. I feel like I'm thriving. I feel like I'm shining. And I could not take my eyes off of this eyeshadow. Honestly, it was a little bit distracting, but in a very, very delightful way. This look wore beautifully for me when I took my makeup off at the end of the day. I had a very, very minimal sparkle fallout, and a lot of this shimmer was still adhering to my lids, which is incredible given how emollient these shimmers are. So for me, performance-wise, this one really knocked it out of the park. I've been able to swatch and play with this palette quite a bit, and I have to say every single look that I've done with this one is absolutely gorgeous. In a perfect world for me, I would have a few more mattes in here. I am somebody that prefers closer to a 50-50 split in my palettes as far as mattes and shimmers go, but there's no denying that these shimmery shades are absolutely gorgeous. Very shifty, multi-chrome, shimmer heavy palettes are a signature of the brand. So frankly, I'm happy to see that a third of the palette are mattes, and I really like the matte shades that were selected in here. There are a couple of the shimmers that I think are maybe a little bit too close to one another. Some of these really lightest shades tend to look pretty similar on the eye. Same with the two deeper reds, they do look pretty close to one another. But all in all, these perform beautifully. The formulas are stunning. A little bit goes a long way. I have great wear time with these. Beautiful, high quality, high performing palette. When it comes to is something worth it or not, I think that's more of a case by case basis. I can't really tell you whether this is worth $79 to you or not. Perfect example. I think there are some very pricey, over $100 palettes on the market that are just simply too expensive for me, in my opinion. They just wouldn't get the use value in my collection, but I know a lot of other people love them, use them all the time, constant favorites, and for them it is worth it. I think of this type of palette similarly to that. I'm much more likely to use this palette and go back to it over and over again versus a really neutral heavy Natasha Denona or Pat McGrath palette. But like I said, a lot of people love those and it's really worth it because those are their favorites. To me, this is more worth it because I'm more likely to use this and love it and keep going back to it. So you just have to sort of assess your own personal style, your collection. Maybe you already have a lot of these really warm, shifty, multi-chrome type of shades, and then it's probably not necessarily worth it for you versus somebody who doesn't have a lot of shades like this in their collection. And this would really be bringing a lot to their makeup world. Let me know if you want to see any more looks with this palette. There are these really beautiful green matte shades that I just didn't reach for because I had recently done that really green look with the Too Faced Maple Syrup Pancakes palette. So I wanted to go with something a little bit more fall-tastic to match my outfit today. But I can definitely do some more looks with this palette if that's something that would be helpful and interesting for you. I would love to hear what you think about Samarian Sunset. Did you already order it? Is it on your wish list? Are you waiting to see what the brand comes out with next? I always love to hear what you think about things too, so make sure you leave all your thoughts down in the comments below. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye! Oh, too close. Zoom out, zoom, zoom. Oh, this eyeshadow is so pretty. I can't stop staring at it. Take that into account if you're gonna purchase this, that you may be incredibly distracted. Did I already say that? That didn't make sense. Got my Starbucks Halloween cup. Happy. This like made my week when I found this. Can we just take a moment? That's why I don't even really want to do a whole lot, a complicated, many shadows look, because I just want to really let the ones that I choose have their moment to shine. Get it? Because they're shiny. All right. I think that wraps it up. I don't have a discount code, but I'm pretty sure that a lot of other people do. I know that Heather Austin has one. I'll check and see. I'm sure a bunch of my YouTuber friends have affiliate codes with Adept. So check the description box, and if I find any little coupon codes for you, I'll list them down there. Support my friends. All right, thanks for watching. Love your face, and you are more beautiful and shiny and interesting and complex in the most wonderful way than any multi-chrome shadow ever could be. And that is one of the many reasons why I love your face so much. Okay, I'll see you soon. Bye!